And of course, we want to know about Child Health Days. What do they mean to the parent, the community, the individual, and also to the health workers? And what are some of the services or activities that are included in this? And where should children access these services from? I am Kamara Daniel, your presenter, and I'm joined by Mr. Chiza Muzamiru from Rubaga Division. Yes, and he will be introducing himself with us here. Mr. Chiza, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for hosting us here, and also for the opportunity to share the little we know in the bid to improve the general health of the community. I'm Chiza Muzamiru by name, and I work with the Office of the Division Medical Officer Rubaga, and I'm here to share a few highlights about immunization with key focus on Child Health Days that are due for this very April 2026.
Excellent. You're most welcome to Google Television. Google Television takes pride in health specialists who come here to educate, create awareness, and sensitize the public. All we know that 75% of the diseases here in the country are preventable, and health education creates awareness and people take into practice what they learn here, and this reduces on the economic influx of the country and also promotes a resilient community that becomes productive. And as you all know, our GDP has increased. This means that you are either doing the right thing or you're increasing the tax. I'm not going to taxes, but what you should know is that the more you are healthier, the more you live longer. And you all know that also our life age expectancy has been increased according to scientists. This means that me and you are doing something that is very important, and yet we should continue and create more awareness. With the rising issues relating to air, clean air, relating to non-communicable diseases, and all other diseases that are emerging, we have to be extra careful. Now, we want to see how our children's health days are being taken care of here in the country with Mr. Chiza. Please open the package for us so that we can fully start to learn from your expertise.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel. In a broader context, the Child Health Days are part of a package that we are looking at under the big umbrella of immunization. And we all have to come to an agreement or to one point that ever since the world has resolved or revolved, one of the biggest discoveries that have saved human life is immunization. We always talk about immunization and the invention of vaccines, antibiotics. The two have saved human beings from dying in big and gross numbers. So when you talk about immunization, we're talking about something that has saved over about 154 million people worldwide in the last 10 years from death. That means about every single minute, we are saving 6 lives from death. So it is very important that we understand the broader umbrella of how we go to the Child Days. Now, for example, in Uganda currently, we are doing what we are calling routine immunization. This is what the health facilities, public, private, not-for-profit, and then private for-profit facilities are providing on a daily basis. This is aimed at making sure that every child under 5 years, but even the 10-year-old girls, they are talking about human papilloma vaccine, are vaccinated against the 14 diseases, that can be prevented by vaccination. At times, the likes of Mr. Daniel would say the vaccine-preventable diseases, and currently there are 14 in Uganda. Though, of course, for the young ones, but even for adults, have some others like COVID-19, but the basis is not now for the young ones. So we are looking at vaccination that is saving and has saved life with evidence, and this time, the Child Health Days are basically an opportunity for us to catch up, to make sure that whichever child would have missed his or her dose at any point, for any reason, is able to receive that dose at the earliest opportunity during the month of April or the month of October. So the Child Health Days are a biannual event that we conduct in a campaign kind of mode. It is a low-cost activity, but with a very high impact. The input looks smaller, but the output and what we gain from the Child Health Days is something that you can't skip to understand or to appreciate. So with the Child Health Days, we are looking at the biannual event, which is April and then October. So this is a catch-up activity. It doesn't replace the routine facility visits by the mothers or the caretakers of the children. The mere fact that Daniel's son or daughter has been served or has taken part in the Child Health Days doesn't mean he doesn't have to go to the facility next month for his maybe DPT or measles shot. Exactly. So this is just a catch-up opportunity. For any reason, we are looking at the underserved. We are looking at those whose mothers or caretakers are so busy to remember that this child maybe had a second dose at this date. We are looking at what we are calling zero dose, which is a concept that our viewers need to understand very well. There are children who even at 6 weeks, where they're supposed to get their first pentavalent injection, at times for one reason it is delayed or it hasn't been received. That causes a bigger problem. And those children, in case they happen, we call them zero dose. And during the Child Health Days, it is one of the points we're putting emphasis on. Down there in the villages, we are looking at how can we make sure that every zero dose child is attended to. Let us make sure they eventually enrolled into the system. So it is a catch-up opportunity. It doesn't replace the routine immunization activities. It doesn't replace the routine health facility visits, not at all. And on top of that, we also do vitamin A supplementation. There's a very clear reason why MOH, UNICEF, WHO, and the likes of the senior nutritionists like Daniel insist on not saying vitamin A. They always clearly add supplementation. Why? Because that is not the major source of vitamin A for that child's survival. The major source of vitamin A is what that child eats on a daily. So what we do during the Child Health Days, we are basically supplementing. So we must make sure that as also we are looking at the immunization bit, the first question is how good, how bad, how realistic is this child being fed? We are saying being fed because below 5 years, there is little opportunity for that little soul to decide on what he or she will eat and how and in what quantities. That is why at the end of the day, TV stations like Google are giving air to make sure that we're not talking to children, basically. We're talking to the bigger adults. Because it is them now to decide on how better, how good this child can flourish later in life. And that starts now, when it is still that young. So we're talking about vitamin A supplementation as a top-up to what exactly he or she eats in the normal meals. We're also looking at deworming. We understand that at times, for hygienic purposes, or for any other reason, we tend to have some worms which eventually disrupt the absorption cycle of the food we eat. Now, when worms actually existing in the body, they partly enjoy the digested food of what you have, or of what your body has already processed. So by the time the body is supposed to absorb from the intestines, worms are at that point where they actually pick the refined food. So we end up now running...
The nutrients.
Exactly, the nutrients. So eventually what happens, we are going to get very obvious presentations. Anemia, where the blood is reduced. We are going to get very obvious things like malnutrition. Basically, someone is not eating. He's eating, but he's not eating. There is another government within a government.
There is a competition.
There's a clear competitor, and that competitor is strategically placed.
That the nutrient receptor sites.
Exactly. That where your body needs them better, or to a point where the body is about to utilize them.
It's all the problems.
Exactly. Now where that's the worms are seated. So what do the Child Health Days bring? We do offer deworming services or dewormers to the children. This doesn't discriminate. In most cases, we are giving even up to 14 years. So anyone there.
How about old people when you talk about deworming?
In most cases.
If I carried my child and I asked for a dewormer.
In most cases, when you approach the ICHD site or the health facility, you're going to be served. We are looking at a general healthy community. Because at the end of the day, if we look at a healthy child and a sick mother, we are basically doing the opposite. So, but we are also looking at, in the Child Health Days, we are looking at reducing missed opportunities. My dose for example, the pentavalent 2 vaccine, commonly people know it as DPT. Maybe second dose, probably I'm assuming was supposed to be maybe this week. Unfortunately, this week we've lost a relative, work is too busy, there's been too much jam, for many reasons. I've not been able to take my son or my daughter to the health facility. Now, during these Child Days, we also make sure that that is also served in there, so that we reduce what you're calling the under-immunized children. Under-immunized would mean probably I got dose 1 for maybe DPT, but for some reason I didn't get dose 2. I'm under-immunized. I'm immunized below average, below the recommended. So we provide an opportunity to make sure that such children, the under-immunized, are also served. But then also, we are looking at 10-year-old girls. And also here, we are primarily advocating and administering the human papilloma vaccine, which is preventive against the effects of some dangerous strains of the human papilloma virus. Commonly, the best language you can understand at the basic level is it is what is known to cause cancer of the cervix, and at times even the vagina, but commonly cancer of the cervix. So the 10-year-old girls also are given an opportunity to receive the HPV vaccine. And we encourage parents to understand that it is to the good of those children, the 10-year-old girls, that they receive this vaccine. But then also, we are looking at TD, tetanus and diphtheria vaccine, that bivalent vaccine. It is also administered within. So it is basically, we are giving everything with a focus on improving the general health that rotates around anything to do with vaccination. So children below 5 years, dewormers, vitamin A supplementation, 10-year-old girls when it comes to HPV, and then 14 to 45-year-old women when it comes to TD vaccination, 0-dose children, those that are beyond 6 weeks but haven't received the first dose of the pentavalent vaccine, and then the under-immunized children. In a nutshell, that's the package that we are looking at when it comes to the Child Health Days.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Chiza. And of course, our viewers could be wondering, what you've given us vaccines, of course, in bits. Now we'd like to know actually the re-immunization schedule, how it looks like, and what should mothers expect at different ages of the child. You know, maybe mothers actually are missing, maybe because they forget, just like you said, they lose a relative and you're traveling, or yourself you're sick, or you're not where your business is not running and you're really busy, you say, oh, this child will wait because you don't have what to eat. So take us through the immunization card of a child.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Now, even before we go through that, at our sites where we seek the immunization services, death workers support us a lot. They support the guardians and the parents a lot. They even record, for example, for my next dose, when is it due? In a nutshell, immediately after birth, a a child receives about 3 vaccines. That is, we are calling them birth antigens. I mean, after birth, within the first few hours or days, I'm going to receive, first of all, a dose of polio. A dose of polio vaccine that is given via the mouth. This supports prevention against polio. On that very day, within that very period, I'm going to receive a shot of BCG, which is an injectable under the skin. That prevents us against tuberculosis. So far, you're looking at polio, we are looking at tuberculosis. But then also, the recently introduced hepatitis B vaccine, birth antigen, birth dose. So within the first days after being born, a child will receive an additional hepatitis B shot. So at birth, or what we are calling the birth antigens, there are going to be 3. There's going to be polio, there's going to be one for TB, which we call BCG, and then also there's going to be one for hepatitis B. Hepatitis B, many of our viewers could have an idea, but basically this is something that in most cases, if you decide to go chronic in your body, it will have a bigger toll on the liver that would actually spoil it, and we may get bigger complications. So after that, at 6 weeks, when a child is given those birth antigens, in most cases, the health worker is going to support the guardian or the mother or the attendant or whoever has brought the child to seek the services on the next date. It is not always, they don't just say 6 weeks. No, they find a particular date, and it is even written along the child health card. So at 6 weeks, the child is going to get several vaccines. What is commonly known is the pentavalent, or DPT. That's how in most cases people tend to commonly. But he will get several shots. First of all, he will get polio within the mouth, another shot of polio. He will get what we call DPT, or DPT Hib, the pentavalent vaccine. That is one shot that has 5 vaccines embedded in there. That is why it is called penta. Penta means 5. So there is diphtheria, there is pertussis, there is tetanus, there is hepatitis B again, there is Haemophilus influenza type B. And now that is given as an injectable. So it is one single shot, but contains 5 embedded antigens within there. Those are 6, but again is going to receive rotavirus 1 for a vaccine that prevents against rotavirus. Rotavirus is known to cause a terrible diarrhea in children. And IPV, the injectable polio vaccine. So at 6 weeks, 10 and 14, more or less the same vaccines are repeated. That is a pattern in which the research clearly indicates how effectively the body can be protected by receiving vaccines in that manner. Then at 6 months, we are coming back, the child is coming back for some vitamin A official on the site. Now this is not part of the child days, but at 6 weeks, 6 months, the child is coming back for supplementation. But amidst all that also, there is ongoing growth monitoring. There is weight is taken, head circumference is supposed to be taken, MOAC or mid upper arm circumference is supposed to be taken, so that we keep monitoring how this child is progressing in terms of health and development. It's not just about giving vaccines. We need also to give vaccines to someone we are sure is getting healthy every other day. And in case he or she is not, this is the earliest opportunity also to discover some of the inborn complications. At times, some of the issues children are born with that may probably be a problem to their normal development, physically, and any other thing that can come along.
So you're trying to say that away from immunization, this gives the time to the health worker to look at the child. What are other services or activities that are offered when a mother brings the children or the child to the health facility for Child Health Days?
Thank you so much, Daniel. So it is two-way. On the child's side, but also on the mother's or the family side. On the child's side, there is growth monitoring. And this is even very clearly noted on the chart. Take weight. Mothers actually know the attendance. When you come, you're supported to weigh the baby, because weight in the early days is one of the growth monitoring indicators that we can't skip away from. Weight, height, head circumference, mid-upper arm circumference. Those are quite very clear indicators that help us monitor how is the baby doing. Some conditions like hydrocephalus would just be obvious as someone tries to take a head circumference. Conditions like stunting, where someone is not progressing in terms of height, would actually be understood as someone tries to take the height and compare with a normal scale of a growing child. So it is not just about vaccines, there's also growth monitoring. But then also, there is what we call infant or young child feeding. The mother is supported. How is the baby doing? Is it breastfeeding well? Is it time for us to add extra feeds? What happened? If the mother doesn't have breast milk or feed is not sufficient, the health work supports. How can we support you? What helps the mother to identify the would-be cause and supports the mother accordingly to make sure that the baby gets adequate milk, and again without the mother being overstrained. Of course, we are living in a working generation, and health workers are also adjusting on how they can support the working mothers to make sure that the child or the children get what exactly deserves of them. But then also on the side of the mother, there is some postpartum counseling that is very important. After delivery, there are some challenges I'm going through as a mother. How can I handle? 2, family planning services. Am I supported? What is bringing me to the health facility is something regarding my uterus. So how can my uterus also be supported so that either I come back here within the time that is healthy for me? Family planning services are given, counseling, and then those who are willing to, depending natural and any others available. But then also, as mothers, they also supported through how they can actually handle family. Some of them are, I would say some of them are junior mothers, if that is the right statement, new time mothers, that they're going through an experience that they can't even imagine. Child is crying maybe 2-3 hours in the night. This is the only time I had to sleep. Maybe during them at work, have to do the home chores. A lot of things keep happening there. So the health workers are trained to also support the mothers through all that. So it's not just about coming for immunization. But then also the mothers are diagnosed and treated of any prevailing infections.
For the mothers?
For the mothers. We are looking at the child.
What if a man is not bringing the child to the health days?
And we really appreciate that. He also goes through the same
My dad
support.
used to take me for immunization. I remember very well. Even you have pictures of the immunization.
He's a great dad.
He is.
He is. So, even when the father brings, in fact, for many facilities here, most around Kampala, when a father or a male figure brings the child, they are given attention faster to promote male involvement. At the end of the day, we understand that some of the mothers don't bring children, not because they don't want, but because the father, Daniel, hasn't provided transport. Or the father, Daniel, has not he had the authority to leave home.
I know.
Or the father, Daniel, doesn't believe in immunization.
That father, Daniel, must be hard.
Of course, not the Daniel here.
We'll go for a short, quick break. When we return, shall continue this discussion about immunization and what parents can really do and in providing all this care as a parent, both sides, whether a man or a wife, it should be double-sided. See you shortly after the break, and we shall explore more why children must be taken for immunization.
Good Day TV, transforming your life. Okoye okwegoba n'abakozi ba keeki. Kati nno Cake World tukola keeki z'emikolo gyonna. Omuli wedding cakes, introduction cakes, wamu ne birthday cakes. Mu flavour ez'enjawulo nga coconut cake, lemon cake, orange meat, vanilla n'ebika ebirala bingi. Tusomesa mwenna abaagala okuyiga okwekolera keeki. Omuli abawala n'abalenzi. Tusangibwe Matugga mu Kito ng'oyise ku ofiisi ya chairman. Tukubire oba WhatsApp ku 0748 57 31 6 ne 0706 82 12 96. Cake World for quality cakes.
Good Day TV, transforming your life.
Once again, you're most welcome to Good Day Television here at Makerere Gospel Church at Sapro Kagwa Road. It's where we're located. And you can always come in at any time to see us, greet us, and also even if you have flowers, gifts, and wherever the presenters, please come in and we shall be excited to see you. But most importantly, come when you are prepared to receive Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, because here it's where your salvation begins from. And we are talking about Child Health Days, and most importantly, why couples should work together to make sure that they support children's growth, development. Since children spend most of the time at school, when you give them a strong background, by the time a child goes to boarding, because I see nowadays, Mr. Chiza, children join boarding as early as 5 years.
As early as 3.
Others 3. Almost. Because you see the economy, you were working very far, you want a child to keep in a certain school, and also other environmental dynamics that you really want to avoid. So giving your child a strong background is very important. And now we're exploring why your children must be immunized with Mr. Chiza. So why should mothers actually or parents take children for immunization?
Thank you, Daniel. Now, time back, it was about be born, survive, or die. Mm-hmm. As the world is developing and innovations come on board, the rate of how many children survive had to be considered. Even up to now, you're going to find some words like newborn but then surviving, meaning someone has survived that critical period of 6 weeks. But at the end of the day, the broad aspect of what I need to reply to is child survival is a very huge concern. And it's not just about surviving, but surviving within a holistically healthy body and mind and environment. So the immunization, why I talk about immunization, is that we need this cell to grow today and tomorrow without a possibility of diseases, of being attacked by diseases that can actually be prevented, because they are known to disrupt a very huge routine in their lives in case they come along. For example, tuberculosis. It kills, it causes real debility, and it costs a lot. State of being sick. Someone is actually sick for some good time and is not productive in any way. Needs a caretaker, needs to be supported, needs to feed in a special kind of way, needs to be taken to hospital to review by doctors, needs investigations, all that there is a lot of costs running around someone, for example, with TB. Look at diseases like hepatitis B. We are reducing the possibility that someone can actually get hepatitis B even when exposed later in what? In life. So it is one of the major reasons why children must be immunized. But then also, we need to make sure that we reduce the possibilities of malnutrition. When we give dewormers, we are directly reducing the competitors of a healthy body, or the saboteurs that would be existing in someone's body, that would actually stop someone from being healthy.
So it is a direct intervention.
Exactly, it is.
Whereas health education may help mothers, the giving of dewormers remains a direct intervention.
Exactly, it so does. We also need to acknowledge the fact that many of childhood illnesses are diagnosed at immunization points.
What are some of those?
The common ones, for example, malaria. Doctors will tell you things like sepsis, things like pneumonia, things like... At times, it is at that point where the mother is holding her baby, and he's like, "Msao, but it has a cough." Only the health worker open the chest. There are clear, there are evident signs of a pneumonia. And like, no, let's first have this treated, which probably would have cleared the child in the next few hours or days. So the immunization is an all-round service that every child needs to go through or to attain for a better today and tomorrow. Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Chiza. And of course, every person, you hold an obligation, especially when you're living with children. These who are below 5 years, majorly because they are volatile. I mean, they really need support when it comes to Child Health Days. Now, what has the ministry done? What has the Ministry of Health done in bid for the Child Health Days? And why? You said it is a catch-up time for all those mothers who've been up, busy, whatsoever. But what has the Ministry of Health done to ensure that Child Health Days become positive? And why does it come repetitively every year?
Thank you so much. What has the ministry done, and why are you repeating Child Days every repetitive, for example, by annual 26, the other day will be 27, April, October, 29, April, October? Yes. At every point, there are children who are attaining a certain age. At every period, as we're talking now, there are children who are making 6 months. There are children who are making 1 year.
Very true.
So as we repeat, we are reducing missed opportunities like earlier mentioned. We're reducing the possibility that Chiza's son may have missed dewormers maybe in April. I'm sure at least by when they come back in October, I'm possibly going to be what? To benefit there and then. But then also, when you look at the time lag, for example, just to be specific, for example, for dewormers, it is recommended that someone take 2 doses in a year. So if someone takes a single dose every 6 months, then we are quite sure that if someone had worms, then we are sure that those worms are perfectly eliminated. So if it is done every 6 months, within those years until someone is 5 years or 10, we are very sure that this someone is very okay. We are also looking at the 10-year-old girls who receive HPV. Every single time, there are people making 10 years. So we don't want to miss them, because that's the perfect opportunity, that's the perfect timing that the HPV vaccine would actually yield better results in prevention against cancer of the cervix. So, but the other thing also, what the ministry has done, one, the general planning, but then also mobilizing of partners, UNICEF and many other partners on board that come to support these activities. But then also 3, technical guidance on what should be done and how. The integration bit, for example, you look at the Child Days plus Child Days for this April 2026, there would be other integrated services. There will be an additional services for the benefit of the child. Most likely like malaria screening, TB screening. We want to make sure that whichever child gets into contact with a health worker can get an all-round kind of service so that he lives more healthy than just supplementing the vitamin A, than just giving the dewormers, than probably with the catch-up immunizations. But then so the other thing ministry does is to streamline how activities are done. This should be done under this guidance, based on this evidence, and then regular follow-up, but then also approval and regular surveillance of the vaccines and any other supplements that are being used within the child days. Because like you understand, National Drug Authority, Ministry of Health, of course, under with the top watch of WHO, vaccines that are being used are closely monitored even after approval. There's constant checking in, what would happen, is everyone okay? And that also poses or makes us to stretch out a very important point of vaccine safety. There are times mothers tend to get worried about questions about vaccine safety and what. The vaccines are safe and are completely free of charge. Completely free of charge.
Mr. Chiza, why are you emphasizing and are completely free of charge? Are there some facilities which charge some money, I believe, especially the private sector?
I
have also heard about the vaccine-free pain. The vaccines that are free from pain. I don't know how they look like. Can you give us a highlight about that?
The vaccines being free of pain, some vaccines may cause light pain considerably to others. However, the mere fact that, like the injectables, someone is introducing something under your skin, there could be some slight pain, which is actually expected and acceptable. But it shouldn't be that pain that would make you fail to proceed with general work or that would now take you for an admission. In most cases, when the vaccine is received within the body, we tend to have what we call an immunological reaction. Anyone would say the vaccine is basically the body is basically welcoming the vaccine. While we are introducing the vaccine there, we make antibodies. Those antibodies or those soldiers keep there, moving around. In case the disease to which we are vaccinated comes along, they're already armed and they can eventually take it away. Now, that process doesn't come at a free cost within the body. It comes with some slight inconvenience. I'm emphasizing slight because it shouldn't be an issue that should stop someone or should take someone for an admission in case of anything. However, health workers are well trained in this and they encourage mothers on how they can ably manage in case the pain seems maybe beyond what is expected, but then also what to do. They advise mothers on what to do in case they feel the child is maybe hurting, or because some of these are adult vaccines like TD, like HPV, in case anything of that happens, there's guidance clearly that we can always follow.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Chiza. And of course, we'd like once again to thank our viewers and of course encourage you to visit our social media platforms so that we can engage with you on Google Data Vision, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok so that we can fully learn from your side. What are some of the myths and misconceptions that you've heard from the parents regarding Child Health Days or immunization?
One of them is an issue regarding vaccine safety. Vaccines may kill my child, they make him impotent, they make her not produce in the future. Vaccines, some of them are a bit political, but at least those are the common ones. But we assure the public of vaccine safety, that the vaccines are approved at the different layers, WHO, Ministry of Health, partners like, government arms like National Drug Authority, and even there is constant surveillance. How are they transported? How are they administered, and everything to do with that. And we would like to call on the different categories: mothers, fathers, communities, people with a louder voice like Daniel, anyone in the community, to make sure that we try to support in any way possible to see that the Child Days can be a success. At the end of the day, it is our responsibility as a community to make sure that your neighbor's son or child gets better health. At the end of the day, maybe the in-law, your son-in-law, maybe your daughter-in-law, and this would be the daughter-in-law that you neglected and is probably malnourished, and the malnutrition took a toll on his brain, and somehow now is ending up as a daughter-in-law in your home. And now you're also suffering the consequences of a neglected child.
Wow, you're trying to explain the vicious cycle of malnutrition?
Yeah. Somehow, not really, but somehow.
You know, when I was being taught nutrition by an expert, he gave me an example that I'll never forget. He said that when you get an issue and you get stunting, stunting will not kill you. And as you fail education, because you are stunted, you are 15 years in a P3 class, and the breasts have come, thank God. Now, you will not manage education, you understand? Now, your auntie comes to visit you in your village. Where do you come from, Mr. Chiza? Aha, Kati, your aunt comes to the Antonde and says, oh, this girl has grown very fast.
Find a man.
Is she studying? No, she failed actually. She's just here, she's a race performer, but she's good at work. By the way, then I must go with her to Kampala. She comes to Kampala to work as a maid, housework, for like 6 months, 1 year, until she starts moving to the market, to Kalere, to Nakasero, to shop, and she finds a man. And the man he finds is from Bunyoro, where stunting has laid a mat and exactly. Now the same boy went through the same thing. Now they love each other, they go. Now the vicious cycle, instead of breaking it, it's now going to regenerate and have a future child also.
And everything will be okay to them at that point.
And the vicious cycle, now the mother is already underweight, the mother gives birth to a low birth weight baby, the child thrives in that environment that is very harsh, the child again becomes the child to the streets.
And they keep defending. He weighs less like the father.
Okay.
So the weight is okay, that's how they...
So you find that the vicious cycle keeps on repetitive. And breaking it, when I was teaching clinicians this week, I told them one of the ways to break the vicious cycle of malnutrition is to make sure you reject early pregnancies, but keep in school and also work hard so that by the time you get married, you have some money, because food security remains a concern. So in bid to conclude our discussion tonight, we want to once again to say that the parents hold power to prevent malnutrition. Just like children often ask, why did you bring me to the world? We did not plan together, I mean. Did we talk about it, that you bring me to the world in case you're my parent? That's a harsh statement, but it literally means that a parent has the sole responsibility to take care of this child.
Yeah.
And that's why the government of Uganda has different roles around child health protection. So what's your call to the public as we intend to conclude this very important program? How do you want to write the public regarding Child Health Days?
One, this is not about who has a child, who doesn't. This is about us all. Whoever is viewing, whoever will view, whoever is a Ugandan, whoever is a living person. Things to do with immunization are quite pertinent for our survival today and tomorrow. They improve health in all spheres, money-wise, spiritually, family-wise, in all aspects. But then the most important bit for today's program, we are asking that let us make sure the child you have at home who is below 5 years, make sure that child has received vitamin A, has supplementation, has received a Duama, and his or her immunization status is up to date. For all 10 years, make sure they have received HPV vaccine, human papillomavirus vaccine. The good thing now, even it is one shot, and that is it all. And then let us all try to play our part, depending on where you are. If you're a father, support the mother, support in terms of transportation, support in any way possible. If you're a mother, make sure you move with your child health card. However, even if someone may not have it, still you won't be denied the service. But it's ideal that the health worker can easily review and ensure that this child is up to date when it comes to immunization. When it comes to the local leaders, religious leaders, cultural leaders, you have a bigger voice than anyone around. You have a very big voice that can't be challenged. when you encourage the masses that respect our words, then we are very sure that we are going to have a very successful campaign for the ICHDs April 2026.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Chiza. Now, let's run our health workers on practice in such health days.
Well, health workers have their role. And the guidance comes in depending on the service package. Like I said, we are giving dewormers, vitamin A, screening of malaria, TB screening, growth monitoring, HPV to the 10-year-old. And we call upon and remind our health workers to always love us the way and to be soft with us. And I am sure they've always done this. We thank the efforts, and we still call them upon to actually serve us the way they've already served us. Yes.
Excellent. Now, of course, we want to end actually rallying the government, and of course, what should focus on, especially in such priority environment where we want to make sure that children are given priority. Your message to the government, people on table. Do you sit on any table for policy making?
No.
We want now to call upon the people on the table. Please, when they are sharing the cake, make sure the biggest chunk goes to the children.
As they've always done.
I don't know.
To keep the support flowing. Yeah. Many of the efforts here are because they've always given us guidance and then thrown the light on how we should move and mobilize the partners, supported us in reporting and any other issue that arises. Yeah, but still, support is much needed.
Wow. Thank you so much. And of course, dear viewers, for those who have joined us since we began this program, and for those who will come to learn about this very important program, I want to thank you for having Health and Beauty program every Wednesday here, 8 to 9 p.m. at Google Data Vision. Mr. Chiza, give us your brief summary points around Child Health Days and immunization, and focusing on what you're doing as Rubaga Division, and you give us your conclusion remark.
Thank you so much. So one, routine immunization, we ask everyone below 5 years, every guardian, make sure that child receives the due vaccines at the designated timing as per the child health card. When it comes to the Child Health Days for April, because they're the ones we're talking about basically, they're the ones in discussion right now, we encourage all stakeholders, everyone, to make sure the child gets vitamin A supplementation if it's due, deworming, catch up with any missed opportunities in any under-immunized children in case maybe the child missed a dose and is due. Please, let's make sure that we all try out and we have these children in a better shape. As a Rubaga Division, we are also planning on how we can use the 13 parishes within the division to ensure that every child is reached, every child is served using any available resources.
Wow. Thank you so much. And of course, for the viewers, we want to appreciate you for being here with us. We want to encourage you to go ahead and be on our social media platforms so that you do not miss out any Christian program, including lunch hour fellowships and very phenomenal for your salvation. I am Kamara Daniel, your presenter, and I hope to see you as you participate in such Child Health Days. This is your program, and it is not the government's area alone, but rather it's you. And of course, the government invites every person to participate in such activities. Hope to see you next week, Wednesday. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Health and Beauty